I'll tell you what, we're having an earthquake.
That is the scene during the World Series when a 6.9 magnitude earthquake struck the San Francisco Bay Area 24 years ago today. 63 people died and thousands more were hurt in the 1989 disaster.
A quake like that is why 24 million people will take part in today's Great Shakeout. It is a drill designed to prepare for the next major seismic event. In California, the only real question is when. Scientists put the chance of a massive quake at 99.7% in the next 30 years. But as Ben Tracy shows us, little is being done to strengthen some of the most vulnerable buildings.
The 1994 Northridge earthquake near Los Angeles killed 72 people and caused $20 billion in damage. At the time, some city leaders called for a list of all buildings in Los Angeles that could collapse during a major quake. But it was considered too costly to force building owners to retrofit their properties, so the list was never made.
How much does the idea of the big one worry you?
It's a constant fear.
Ethan Eller manages the Newmart building in downtown Los Angeles, home to many fashion wholesalers. It's 12 stories of concrete built in 1925.
If you were to reinforce this building with steel, what would that cost you?
Oh, I'm sure into the millions.
And that's prohibitive.
Yes. In the big one, a lot of buildings are going to fail no matter what you do.
The Newmart is on a new list compiled by the Los Angeles Times of 1,000 buildings considered potentially at risk in a major earthquake. Most of them are concrete structures built in the 1920s and 30s as Los Angeles rapidly expanded. They are mainly in downtown and Hollywood and include a luxury hotel and the iconic Capitol Records building. LA Times database editor Doug Smith spent 7 months digging through permit records and walking the streets to find these buildings.
Many owners told us my building is reinforced with steel, so it's safe. Every concrete building has reinforcing, but the question is how much?
Without enough flexible steel reinforcement in their columns, during a quake, concrete buildings don't bend, they break, and the building collapses.
We've known for many years that these buildings are by far our most dangerous buildings in Los Angeles.
Tom Heaton is a seismologist at Caltech.
If we had a large earthquake, similar to the Northridge earthquake, but in the downtown area, I would expect to see many thousands of people killed, maybe tens of thousands.
In 1981, Los Angeles mandated that 8,000 brick buildings be reinforced or knocked down. The state has spent $6 billion retrofitting highways and overpasses. All new buildings are built to stricter earthquake codes. But owners of existing concrete buildings where thousands live and work have not been forced to make changes. Now, the LA City Council is considering a review of concrete buildings built before 1976. But in a motion filed Tuesday, one council member writes, "We have known about these dangers for some time. However, we must also be aware of the costs involved in any comprehensive effort to require retrofitting." Ethan Eller says his company spent $1 million in seismic upgrades at the Newmart building, but installing steel reinforcements is simply too expensive.
Do you feel like you've done everything you can do that's reasonable to make this building more safe?
Yes, we do. We are very cognizant of our tenants and their customers. If you kill your tenants, they don't pay the rent, so that's not a really good business plan.
We're having an aftershock right now, people.
Nobody knows exactly when the big one will strike, but it's clear that Los Angeles has a concrete problem to solve. For CBS This Morning, Ben Tracy, Los Angeles.